Ladies and gentlemen, when the dawn of Wednesday arrives, it does not merely mark the middle of the week. It becomes a sacred doorway, a quiet space where the soul may lean forward and whisper its deepest longing. Today is a miracle-bearing morning. A moment stitched by the universe to remind you that transformation is not a distant dream, but a living breath within your chest. There is a rhythm moving through creation. Soft, steady, eternal. And when you align your spirit with that rhythm, the impossible begins to loosen its grip. Life itself bends toward those who stand with courage, humility, and readiness. So open your heart wide, for this Wednesday carries blessings waiting to land upon the soil of your desire. Let us gather our awareness, like a priest gathering incense, and lift our intentions upward. Forget the weight of yesterday. Forget the fear of tomorrow. Right now, in this breath, in this second, you are touching the hem of possibility. And when you dare to believe, truly believe, mountains that once seemed immovable begin to tremble. You may have walked through shadows, through disappointments, through seasons that bruised your spirit, yet, here you stand. That alone is a miracle. And if life has brought you this far, then trust that it has not brought you here to abandon you. The same force that births stars, shapes rivers, and mends wounded hearts is working on your behalf. Though you cannot always see its hands, you can feel the shift, a quiet rearranging in the unseen. So on this miraculous Wednesday, speak boldly. Declare your transformation. Call forth your blessing with the authority that comes from knowing you are not separate from the sacred. You are a fragment of the sacred itself. When you stand tall in that truth, impossibilities collapse like dust at your feet. For what is impossible to the one who shaped the galaxy with a whisper? Walk forward today knowing that a miracle does not always roar. Sometimes it arrives gently, like morning light filtering through a window. Sometimes it breaks open your world in a single moment. But always, its purpose is to lift you into the next, truer version of yourself. May your path rise. May your spirit expand. May your Wednesday be soaked in blessings too vast for the mind to measure. And may the impossible become the very ground your feet stand upon. Here is an hour's lengthy, expanded version of Key Point 5.1 is written in the same poetic, spiritual, Maya-inspired voice with the calm depth of Sadhguru. EPF expanded Key Point 1s into 5 long paragraphs. Transformation begins when the heart opens to possibility, especially in the quiet, sacred moments of the week. Transformation is not born from noise, urgency, or the restless clatter of the world. It emerges from stillness, those gentle pockets of time when the heart can finally hear itself. On a Wednesday morning, when the week has already shown you its weight, a delicate doorway opens. It is in this mid-week pause that you are offered the chance to breathe deeper, to listen closer, to feel the quiet nudge of change tapping at your spirit. When the heart softens, even slightly, the universe finds space to plant new seeds of wisdom and possibility. The truth is, the heart must first be willing before transformation can ever begin its work. A closed heart cannot receive, cannot shift, cannot evolve. But when it opens, even by the width of a single breath, light rushes in, fresh understanding flows, courage loosens its wings. A softening of the inner world creates a widening of the outer world. And suddenly, what once felt too heavy, too complicated, or too distant begins to feel reachable. Transformation waits for no grand invitation. It simply needs a willing spirit. The sacred moments of life are rarely the loud ones. They are the moments when you sit with yourself in honesty, in tenderness, in humility. Wednesday offers a unique kind of spiritual stillness, a reminder that you have journeyed far enough into the week to reflect. Yet there remains enough time to redirect your path. In these midweek hours, life whispers softly, "You may begin again." This is not weakness. This is the courage of a soul choosing growth over stagnation. Possibility is not a concept, it is a living energy. It moves toward the open heart like wind moves toward an open field. When you awaken to the idea that something new, something better, something aligned is waiting for you, the very structure of your life begins to reshape itself. Possibility rearranges the inner furniture of the mind. It reminds you that the limits you believed in were taught, not truth. And once your heart accepts even a sliver of possibility, transformation sprouts roots. Like a seed finally meeting water. To open your heart is to give permission to the universe to guide you. It means releasing the tight grip you have on how things should be and allowing life to reveal what they could be. It is the bravery of surrender. It is the maturity of trust. It is the peace of understanding that transformation is not a force from outside. It is a blooming from within. And when your heart opens on a sacred Wednesday morning, even the impossible bows its head and makes way for the miracle waiting to unfold. Here is a long, expanded version of Key Point 52 written in the same poetic, spiritual, Maya-inspired voice with the depth and calm presence of Sadhguru. AKS I expanded Key Point 2 into 5 long paragraphs. IVS, the impossible becomes movable when the soul aligns with the deeper rhythm of life. There is a rhythm beneath all things, a silent pulse moving through the universe like a sacred heartbeat. Most people never sense it because their lives are tangled in noise, expectation and urgency. But when a person begins to slow down, to breathe with awareness, to listen with the whole of their being, that rhythm becomes clear. It is gentle yet powerful, subtle yet unmistakable. And when your soul begins to move in harmony with it, the impossible loses its rigidity. It no longer stands as a wall before you but becomes a veil waiting to be lifted. The alignment of the soul is the key that unlocks what once felt unreachable. Every obstacle you face carries 2 stories: the story the world tells about it, and the story your spirit knows about it. The world says, this cannot be moved, this is too big, too late, too complicated. But the spirit whispers, nothing is fixed. Everything is energy. When your soul aligns with life's deeper flow, you begin to see that even the mountains that once intimidated you are not solid. They are shifting, living, responding to your intention. The impossible begins to soften not because the situation changes first, but because you change first. Internal alignment creates external movement. Most people try to solve life from the surface, through effort, force and logic. But life itself is not moved by force, it is moved by resonance. When your inner world becomes calm, steady and centered, life begins to respond in ways that logic cannot explain. You attract solutions you never considered. Opportunities drift toward you with surprising ease. People, ideas, and resources find their way into your life as though guided by an unseen hand. When your soul aligns with the larger rhythm, you stop wrestling with life and instead begin dancing with it. And in that dance, the impossible becomes pliable. Think of a river flowing through a landscape. It does not fight the rocks, it moves with persistence and softness, until even the hardest stones are shaped and shifted. Your spirit holds this same quiet power. When aligned with the deeper rhythm of existence, you gain the patience of water, the endurance of wind, and the clarity of light. You stop pushing against life's current and begin moving with it. In that flow, you discover that everything, yes, even the impossible, is always in motion, always capable of shifting in your favor. To align your soul with life is to surrender your struggle and step into trust. It is to recognize that the universe is not opposing you, it is guiding you. When you breathe with intention, listen deeply, and walk with awareness, you naturally fall into step with this ancient rhythm. And once you enter that harmony, the impossible becomes nothing more than a story waiting for a new chapter. Life bends, doors open, paths appear. What once seemed immovable becomes a stepping stone on your journey toward transformation. Here is as long, expanded version of Key Point 3 Dias in the same deep, poetic voice, soft, spiritual and steady like Sadhguru, yet touched with Maya's emotional resonance. Fairfavisi expanded Key Point 3 size into 5 long paragraphs. Your survival and resilience are already miracles, proving you are supported by something greater. There are moments in life when you look back and realize you have walked through storms that should have broken you, seasons that seem too heavy for any one heart to carry. Yet here you stand, not perfect, not untouched, but present, breathing, moving forward. That alone is a miracle. Too often we overlook the quiet victories of simply surviving. But survival is never a small thing. It is a profound declaration that something greater has been walking beside you, carrying what your hands could not, strengthening what your mind doubted, and holding you in the unseen hours of your darkest nights. Every scar on your soul is a story of resilience. Every collapse that ended in rising again is a testament to your inner strength. Most people never acknowledge the sacredness of that strength. They see only what did not work out, what was lost, what hurt them. But beneath all those layers of pain is a truth as bright as the first light of morning. You overcame does not by accident, not by coincidence, but because life itself was invested in your survival. Something larger than your fears stood guard over your destiny. If you think back to the moments when you felt you were at the edge, emotionally drained, spiritually exhausted, unsure of how to keep going, you will notice something: you were never fully alone. A sign appeared at the last moment. A person spoke a word that lifted you. A path opened when you had stopped searching. These are not random events. They are reminders that you are supported by a force that sees beyond your momentary pain and into your deeper purpose. It is a force that has been guiding you long before you knew to ask for guidance. Your resilience is not merely persistence, it is a sacred imprint within you. It is the echo of ancient strength, carried forward through generations, rising in you every time life demands more than you think you have. This resilience is not learned, it is awakened. And when it awakens, you discover that even in your weakest hours, there is a river of strength flowing through your spirit, an inheritance from the very source that created you. That strength has protected you, lifted you, and brought you to this moment of transformation. So when you doubt yourself, pause and remember this: your continued existence is evidence of a miracle already in motion. It means life has plans for you that have not yet unfolded. It means you are not abandoned. It means there is more ahead, more growth, more healing, more blessing. You do not endure by your own power alone. You endure because the universe itself refuses to let your story end unfinished. Your survival is the proof. Your resilience is the witness, and your journey is the ongoing miracle. Here is a long, expanded version of Key Point 4 written in the same spiritual, poetic tone, wise, reflective, deep like Sadhguru, yet carrying the emotional richness of Maya's voice. Fopa's expanded Key Point 4 into 5 long paragraphs. Blessings often move in the unseen, rearranging your life before you notice the change. Gas is so much of what transforms our lives does not begin on the surface. It begins in the quiet undercurrents we cannot see. Life's blessings are not always loud, dramatic, or immediately recognizable. They often begin as subtle shifts in energy, as invisible adjustments being made on your behalf. While you are busy worrying, praying, or trying to make sense of your path, the universe is already at work behind the curtain, moving pieces into place, aligning circumstances, stirring hearts, and preparing opportunities that you have not yet imagined. The unseen realm is more active than our eyes can ever perceive. There are seasons when it feels like nothing is happening. You pray, you hope, you wait, and life remains stubbornly unchanged. But what you cannot see is the slow, careful rearranging taking place beneath the surface of your experience. Sometimes life must close certain doors to protect you. Sometimes people must be moved out of your way for your spirit to finally breathe. Sometimes delays are simply the universe buying you time, preparing you for what would overwhelm you if it arrived too soon. The unseen work is the foundation of every visible blessing. Think of a seed buried in the earth. For a long time, nothing appears to be happening. The soil looks undisturbed, the surface remains unchanged. Yet beneath that quiet darkness, life is pushing, swelling, breaking open with purpose. If you judged the seed only by what you could see, you would think it had failed. But the unseen process is the very proof that growth is coming. Your life follows the same rhythm. Do not mistake silence for inactivity. Do not interpret waiting as stagnation. Blessings often require a sacred hidden phase before they rise into the light. Many times, the answers you prayed for are already on their way, but they are traveling through pathways you cannot trace. The right people are being guided to you. The right opportunities are being drawn toward your energy. Problems are dissolving without your knowledge. Conversations are happening that will open doors for you. Hearts are softening that once resisted you. Solutions are forming in the minds of people you have never met. This invisible orchestration is the universe proving that you are never forgotten, never ignored, never left unguarded. When you finally see the blessing appear, when the phone call comes, when the breakthrough arrives, when the situation shifts, You realize it did not happen suddenly at all. It was simply unveiled at the moment you were ready to receive it. The true work had been happening long before your eyes caught up. Trust this sacred truth: life is moving for you even when it feels still. Blessings are arranging themselves even when you feel lost. And the unseen is always working in your favor, shaping a future that will one day make you grateful for every delay, every detour, and every quiet miracle that unfolded before you ever noticed its light. Here is a long, expanded version of Key Point 55, written in the same deep, poetic, soul-stirring tone, spiritually reflective like Sadhguru, yet warm and emotionally resonant like Maya's voice. Tafasa expanded Key Point 5 into 5 long paragraphs as declaring your intention with courage invites divine power, turning obstacles into pathways. There comes a moment in every transformation when silence is no longer enough. You must speak, clearly, boldly, and with the full authority of your spirit. Intention is not merely a thought, it is a spiritual announcement. When you declare what you desire, what you need, and what you are ready to become, you send a signal to the universe that you are no longer waiting for life to happen to you. You are participating. You are co-creating. You are stepping into your power. Courageous declaration is the moment the inner world meets the outer world, and the two begin working together on your behalf. Too often, people bury their desires beneath fear, self-doubt, and memories of disappointment. They whisper their prayers in half measure, as though they are afraid of wanting too much. But intention cannot grow where fear is its soil. You must dare to speak your truth with conviction. Declare healing, declare blessing, declare breakthrough, declare transformation. When your voice aligns with the deepest longing of your spirit, it strikes a frequency that resonates beyond your physical reality. That resonance calls forth divine power, power that reshapes circumstances and dissolves barriers. Obstacles are not walls, they are invitations. They ask you, how badly do you want this? How deeply are you committed? How willing are you to stand in your truth? When you declare your intention boldly, obstacles no longer intimidate you, they become stepping stones. The courage in your voice begins to melt limitations like the sun melts morning frost. What once felt like a closed path begins to open. What once felt heavy becomes lighter. Your words carry the vibration of your destiny, and destiny responds to those who speak without trembling. When your intention is spoken with clarity, the divine begins to intervene in ways you cannot calculate. Paths appear where there were none. People show up who hold the missing pieces of your journey. Unexpected opportunities unfold. Even the challenges that persist begin to soften under the pressure of your unwavering belief. This is not magic. It is alignment. The universe always supports a soul that is honest about what it seeks and brave enough to claim it. Your declaration becomes a lighthouse that guides your blessing toward you. So speak your intention loudly, confidently, and without apology. Stand tall in the knowing that your voice carries spiritual weight. Do not whisper your dreams as though they are fragile. Declare them as though they are destined. For in the moment you claim what you desire, the divine begins arranging the way. Mountains shift, doors unlock, paths straighten, and what once was an obstacle becomes the very ground that leads you into the next, truer version of yourself. Your courage is the invitation, divine power is the response. Together they turn the impossible into the inevitable. Below is a 500-word extended version of Key Point 25, written in the same deep, poetic, spiritual tone. There is no ending or conclusion. As you requested, I see expanded Key Point 5, 500 words and no endings. Declaring your intention with courage invites divine power, turning obstacles into pathways. There comes a sacred moment in your journey when the whispers inside your heart must rise and take on the strength of spoken truth. Intention, when locked inside the mind, is like a seed left in a drawer, full of potential yet unable to grow. But when you declare that intention with courage, you breathe life into it. You send it out into the world as a signal, a vibration, a spiritual announcement that you are ready. Ready to step into transformation. Ready to participate in the shaping of your future. Ready to stand with the fullness of your being instead of hiding behind fear or uncertainty. To declare your intention is to say to the universe, I am here. I am willing. I am choosing. You are no longer sitting in the shadows of hesitation. You are lighting a torch and walking forward with authority. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the willingness to speak your truth even while your voice trembles. It is the recognition that silence cannot carry your destiny, but your intention, spoken boldly and clearly, can shift the very atmosphere around you. Words carry spiritual weight, they carry memory, they carry creation. And when you speak with conviction, life listens. Many people shrink their desires because they worry they are asking for too much. They soften their prayers, water down their dreams, and quiet their longing out of fear of disappointment. But what they do not realize is that timid intention creates timid results. Half-spoken dreams remain half-formed. When you hold back your voice, you hold back your blessings. There is a divinity woven into courage, a sacred strength that awakens when you dare to declare what your soul truly seeks. In that moment, you are not begging life for change. You are claiming the change that already belongs to you. Obstacles begin to shift not when life becomes easier, but when you become clearer. When your intention is strong, obstacles stop being closed doors and start becoming invitations, opportunities for you to deepen your commitment. The mountain that once frightened you begins to shrink. The resistance that once intimidated you begins to loosen its hold. Courage does not erase the path ahead, but it transforms the way you walk it. You move with purpose now, with a grounded certainty that your steps are not random. And in that certainty, even the hardest challenges begin to bend. Once your intention is spoken, divine power begins to move in ways you cannot see. Conversations unfold behind the scenes, hearts soften, circumstances rearrange. The right people are guided toward you, as though drawn by an invisible force. You think you are declaring your desire into empty space, but the moment your words leave your lips, something answers. Not always loudly, not always immediately, but consistently, subtly, powerfully. The divine responds to clarity, it responds to courage, and it responds to a soul that speaks with the authority of someone who finally remembers who they are and what they were created to become.